Love can feel like a wildfire, bright, fierce, unstoppable. It sweeps you up, paints your world in vivid hues, makes every moment crackle with life. You think it'll burn forever, until one day it doesn't. The flames don't rage out in a blaze. They flicker, dim, and fade into smoke before you even realize what's happening. I'm Dr. Michael Reid, a psychologist who's spent 15 years unraveling how love shifts, grows, and sometimes slips away. I'm glad you're here, because today we're stepping into a story that might echo your own. Meet Clara, a 45-year-old painter from Seattle whose brush once danced with color alongside someone she loved deeply. This isn't about pointing fingers or forcing what's lost to stay. It's about seeing the quiet signs when love drifts and finding the strength to let it go. Over the next hour, I'll walk you through Clara's journey, spotlight 2 subtle behaviors that scream louder than words when someone's heart moves on, and share what science and experience teach us about moving forward. If this stirs something in you, leave a comment with your thoughts, share it with someone who needs it, and subscribe. Hit that bell so we can keep exploring together. Let's step into Clara's rain-soaked studio and begin. Clara's loft sits high above Seattle's grey streets, rain streaking the tall windows, a soft patter blending with the hum of her old radiator. At 45, she's a painter, her hands stained with ochre and indigo, her walls lined with canvases that tell stories of joy, longing, and quiet moments. 10 years ago, she met James at an art fair. His sharp jaw and quick laugh caught her eye as he lingered over her sketch of a stormy Puget Sound. They clicked fast, nights sketching under the Space Needle, mornings trading coffee for kisses, weekends lost in her loft, weaving dreams of a gallery together. She'd paint his profile in warm golds. He'd trace her brushstrokes with a grin. "You're magic, Clara." Love felt solid, like a frame she'd never outgrow. But last spring, something shifted. It's a Tuesday. Rain hammers the roof as Clara mixes cadmium red, her easel glowing under a dim lamp. James slumps on the couch, scrolling his phone, the TV flickering a show neither watches. "How's the piece coming?" he asks, voice flat, eyes fixed on the screen. "Good," she says, brushing faster. "Want to see?" He shrugs. "Later." She pauses, paint dripping, a chill settling in her gut. I'd sit her down right there. "Clara, love doesn't crash like thunder, it fades like mist. See, love's alive. It breathes, bends, sometimes stalls. When someone stops loving you, they don't storm out or slam doors. It's quieter, slower, cracks you miss until they widen. For Clara, it started with distance, the first sign I'd point her to. James didn't leave her loft. He was still there, boots by the door, coffee mug on the counter. But he wasn't there. Laughter that once bounced off her walls turned to silence. "How was your day?" she'd ask, wiping paint from her cheek. "Fine," he'd mutter, flipping channels. No spark, no curiosity. Dinners stretched into stillness. She'd talk about a new exhibit. He'd nod, fork, scraping plate, no questions back. She'd paint alone now. He stopped wandering over with, "What's this one mean?" like he used to. Fridays, once their sketching nights, became his late shifts. "Work's crazy," he'd say, but his texts dried up too. "I'm imagining it," she told herself, brushing harder. Yet the air felt heavy, like he was a guest in their shared space. Science calls this emotional withdrawal. When love fades, the brain cuts oxytocin, that glue of connection. Conversations shrink, spontaneity vanishes. Clara felt it, a void growing where warmth once lived. Ever notice someone beside you but miles away? That's love slipping, subtle but sharp. Clara keeps painting, filling the silence with color. But one night, James's eyes stop her cold. It's June, a rare clear evening, and they're at her gallery opening downtown. Her latest piece, a swirl of blues and greys, a storm over Elliott Bay, glows under soft lights. She turns to him, heart lifting, expecting that old pride in his gaze, the way he'd once beam and say, "You've got lightning in you." Instead, his eyes are flat, distant, skimming her painting like it's a stranger's ad on a bus. "Nice work," he says, voice a dull hum, hands in his pockets. She freezes, smile fading. He's not seeing me. I'd pull her aside. "Clara, that's the second sign. The way they look at you changes. When love dims, it's not just their presence that thins, it's how they connect." James's voice lost its edge. Once, he'd tease her paint-smeared nose, voice lilting. Now it's clipped, mechanical. "Looks good." "Sure. Whatever." His eyes, those hazel pools she'd drowned in, stopped holding hers. Quick flicks, no depth, like she's background noise. At home, she'd catch him staring out the window, nod at her. "You okay?" she'd ask. "Yeah," he'd say, turning away. No trace of the man who'd memorize her laugh. Studies map this. When affection fades, micro-expressions shift. Fewer smiles, less eye contact, a cooling in tone. Clara felt it. A stranger wore James's face. He knew her quirks, her chai obsession, her late-night sketches, but the energy drained. "Am I different?" she wondered, staring at her palette. No, his heart had moved, leaving her in echoes. She'd test it. "Remember our first sketch?" His nod was polite, eyes blank. "Yeah, fun." No glow, no pull. Ever feel someone's voice turn cold, their gaze skip past you? That's love fading, not a shout, but a whisper you can't unhear. Clara's days blur, rain falls harder, her loft quieter, James's silences heavier. She replays their decade, hunting the break. Was it that fight over the rent? The cancelled trip? She'd sketch him in charcoals, tracing his jaw, whispering, "Where'd you go?" One Sunday, he's late. "Traffic," he mumbles, coat dripping. No kiss. Hello. She sets out dinner. Salmon, his favourite, but he picks at it, phone buzzing. "Work again?" she asks, voice tight. "Yeah," he says, not looking up. Her chest aches. "I'm losing him." I'd sit her down. "Clara, it's not one moment, it's a drift. Love's a river, deep until the current shifts." James didn't turn cruel. His heart just wandered. She sees it now, short replies piling up, stares growing blank. "Can I fix it?" she asks me, eyes wet, hands twisting her brush. I shake my head. You can't force a spark. Research backs this. When dopamine, that thrill of love, fades, chasing it locks you in a loop. Clara tried, cooked his old favourites, planned a gallery night, but he'd shrug. Too tired? Texts went unanswered. His "I'll call" never rang. She'd wait by the window, rain blurring her view. Maybe tomorrow. One evening, he comes home late, rain-soaked, bag slung over his shoulder. "Clara," he starts, voice low, "I need space." Her throat catches, but she nods. "Okay." No yelling, no pleas. He grabs his sketch pad, walks out, door clicking shut. I'd hold her shoulder. Letting go isn't defeat, it's freedom. She turns to her easel, paints a lone figure under rain, not broken, just standing. Ever clutch a love that's gone cold? It's not holding, it's hurting. Clara's loft hums again. Rain taps steady, but her brush moves sure. James is gone, his boots, his mug, his shadow cleared out. She'd asked me once, tears streaking her paint, "What's left?" "You," I said, "the you before him, shaped by him, ready for more." Love doesn't vanish, it reshapes. She frames that rainy painting, sells it at the next show, buys a ticket to Portland, craving new horizons. Her canvases shift, less gold, more silver, storms giving way to dawn. Science says this too. Letting go rewires you. Cortisol drops, your brain heals. Space opens for new colours. Clara walks Pike Place now, sketches fishmongers, sips chai alone, but not lonely. "I thought I'd break," she tells me, smiling faint. "Turns out I bend." "What about you? Seen that drift, the clipped words, the empty eyes? Don't chase a flame that's out, light your own." Comment what this stirred, share it with someone stuck, subscribe. Let's keep moving forward. I'm Dr. Michael. Here's to new strokes. See you next time.